Hello everyone, this is Danielle from Cageless Readings. So today's pick a card is going to be a love reading, of course, and there is a few things I'm going to be looking for. So instead of doing the two people's energy in the relationship, I'm just going to focus on one, on the person that you're inquiring about. So we are going to be looking at how you perceive them, so that you can see if this is the person that you are inquiring about, if this is the right pile for you. We're going to look at how they feel about you, what they would like from you, what they love about you, and where is this relationship going, or the energy of this relationship. I'm kind of leaving it open to spirit on what it wants to communicate. So yeah, there might be a few more things than that come through, and we'll just see where this reading goes. So we have 3 piles to choose from. Pile 1 will be this heart-shaped moonstone. Pile 2 is this piece of Bloodstone. And pile 3 is this heart-shaped piece of Porcelain Jasper. So please don't forget to ground yourselves. I find when we're doing readings where we have maybe some worry or fear or anxiety because it's talking about someone we might have a crush on, or someone we might be in conflict with, or might not be talking to us right now, it's really important to be as grounded and centered in yourself as possible, so that when you're choosing a pile, it isn't being guided by fear or ego on which pile you choose. It's really the right pile for you. And that being said, if you're not drawn to any of these piles, don't sweat it. I'm sure there is another pick a card reading for you out there. There's so many, so don't worry if you're not drawn to any of these. There just isn't a message for you in this one today, and go ahead and find another one. All right, I'll see you all in your card readings. Hello pile 1, you all chose the piece of Moonstone. There. Okay, so let's see what you all got for your love reading. So for how you perceive them, we have Judge, Destroyer. How they feel inside, we have Horse, and then let's see, we have Rest and Relaxation is Essential, Appreciate This Moment, Forgiveness, and we have Healing Heart, Hands of Cards. And then I will read these soulmate cards, I think, a little bit later. And I'll just stick them here. Okay, alright, it seems like every time I start doing a card reading lately, my cats go a little crazy, so just like the other times, unfortunately, they're starting to chase each other around. So if you hear some thudding and stuff, it's just them going a little crazy. Okay, Pawan, so first thing we have to talk about in this card reading, so there's a lot of battling of ego going on in this person, and I even think with your perception of them as well. I'm trying to find the right words here, but every time I'm trying to pick up the energy, so these two cards are the only ones that you were really involved in because it's your, I wanted to say your perception of them, because as a lot of you know, there's even like, say in astrology, there's like the sun sign, which is how everyone perceives us. And then there's the moon sign, which is how we truly feel inside. It's our true identity, not the one we're projecting. So that was my theory with this, is that this is how you see them on the outside, how you know them. And then this animal card over here is representing how they truly feel within them. So both of these cards have a lot of ego coming through. It's very interesting. It makes it a little bit challenging to read because the ego is very strong, and I'm trying to get to more of like the genuine energy beneath, but that could just be a message in itself. So there's definitely a lot going on here with this person, and if you're in a relationship with them, or if you're just inquiring, it could even be about a friend or a family member or someone you have a crush on who's been a friend for a long time. And might be, I do think this pile, if you're not officially in relationship with this person, you're in this weird dynamic where you are in a relationship, but you aren't. You just have like a really good friendship, but you basically treat each other like you're dating. But then I do feel like there's a lot of low moments in this relationship dynamic where I would say like people's limiting beliefs come up and then create a bit of chaos in this relationship. So how I see this inner self, like how they feel on the inside, I get kind of like this lone stallion energy. I get that they feel like they've been what's the right word, wounded or injured by life in a way that other people can't understand them, that they will never be understood. Like I really do see that they feel like they are and I have to say, this is the ego. I have to really reiterate that, because like I was saying, like if you it is the ego or the limiting belief that is very strong in this whole card reading. So like when their ego gets the best of them, so when, if you're even right now in like lack of communication or even slightly abusive dynamic with them that go on and off, I think this is why it's coming up. It's not talking about the good sides of this relationship right now, or not at this point in this reading. It's really talking about the unhealthy pattern that keeps coming up. So it is this like it says here, like they not showing hand, not being fully open, not being fully honest with how they're feeling. It says here about healing from toxic relationships or addictions, just like healing heartbreak. So I really just get that this is like very like injured or wounded in their childhood. I even think in their current life, they're still surrounded by perhaps work or jobs that in some ways are abusing them as well. So maybe they don't always get paid for jobs that they should be getting paid for. Maybe sometimes they get fired for telling customers that they don't need to purchase a certain thing, and their boss finds out and they get upset because the boss is a little corrupted. And it's just like a reoccurring pattern that this person has dealt with in childhood and is still finding in their, I think it's their young adulthood or even adulthood. Sorry, as soon as I said young adulthood, I saw like some people saying no, this is like 50-year-olds. So yeah, it's very interesting. I don't want to say that this person is bad or good. It's just that their ego, their limiting belief, like their survival comes up, and that's what they're showing me right now. So I have to be very clear. I'm not seeing all the beautiful stuff. They really are showing me like the chaotic disorder, or this chaotic that comes up, and it is all saying it comes from them just believing they're a bit outcasted. They have to protect themselves. They're on their own. People aren't on their side. Yeah, it's very interesting energy, because so these two cards were for how do they feel about you, or what do they love about you, and I got essentially that this person's very private, and even just asking their higher self in a card reading, I'm not getting the answer. Yeah, so I'll leave that with you as you may. Yeah, so they really don't let you in. They don't let you see them, what's really going on in these moments where they are, I don't know if it's angry, or if you want to say triggered, or their limiting beliefs and their fears are coming up and they feel like they don't belong and people can accept them because they're damaged. That kind of energy. And I think it definitely hurts you for sure. Like, I even see, like, when I first turned into this Destroyer card, it feels like it could be in some ways positive, but it says releasing what is potentially destructive, preparing for a new life. It's so interesting because, like I said, only take this as it resonates, but like a very strong energy coming through is that your guides are almost saying, like, it might be advice for you here, releasing what might be potentially destructive to yourself. If you're falling into these patterns in relationships where this isn't your first person who's treated you like this, maybe your father or your mother, whoever raised you, treated you how this person is treating you when they are triggered. And I have to say that because they're saying they're not showing me who this person is when they're like, when you are in harmony with them, they're just showing me that there's a lot that this person isn't handling, isn't processing or working through, and that you you have a hard time balancing that. Like, I actually see that you can put a lot of judgment on yourself about what you're doing. Are you not did you do the wrong thing? Did you say a bad thing? Were you not being supportive? Whatever this horse person might have kind of said. Essentially, this is like saying that this person's habits are unhealthy and they're saying things to push you away because they feel damaged and unlovable. And then it really confuses you because it's a lot of judgment and blame that they put on you. And I just feel like for you, you just get, there's just so much confusion on your side. Like, you're just not understanding what's going on. Did you do that? Did you mean to say or do the actions you were accused of? And I feel like I just see you reaching out, trying to communicate with this person and not having any luck. But it really makes sense with this person's energy. Like, they really just think they're on their own. They can't trust anyone. Yeah, like, I really do see a healing heart. They just like, it says healing from heartbreak, freedom from toxic relationship. And I don't think your relationship, like, you were the toxic person, but I do think that this person's past history of having a abusive background or a manipulative background makes them extra sensitive to things. And because they're always guarded, they're always thinking, like, if someone says that, they must mean this, and they're like jumping quick to the gun, if that makes sense. Which, I mean, like I'm saying over here, I don't feel like you're doing anything wrong. I feel like actually you're, if anything, maybe an overgiver, and you're just so confused about this, so confused. So it is very interesting because, as per usual, sometimes the guides kind of overtake what I had planned for a card reading, and it seems like they're doing that, where it seems like these cards are advice for you on love life and how to get out of these kind of dynamics. And they're not even necessarily saying that you have to give up on this horse person or anything like that, but they do want to make it clear that this horse person does have this pattern. They are not, what's the right word? they aren't really taking any action at this moment in time to stop being the way they are. And it doesn't matter what you say, this horse person, like I said, has this story in their head. They have this whole thing going on about why they can't trust certain people, what it means when they do certain actions. It's just like an impossible place for you to navigate, because no matter what actions you take, they'll have a different logic or reasoning to why that might be a manipulative thing you're doing, or why you might, I don't know. I feel like this is the kind of pile where they might be blaming you of cheating on them, but actually they were probably cheating on you. It's like that very confusing logic. It doesn't make sense to a lot of us, but they really show me that they are just in their own mental hell, and they've put themselves there, and no one can reach them because their healing really needs to come from within, from themselves. Yeah, they're not like something someone can just come and fix and make better. It's not because they haven't had supportive people. I think, like, I have to be careful because I do think some of you have known this person a long time, but they have had some other people similar to you in their lives. But then they just can't receive it as that. They have this almost like survival instinct, this that they can't like let anyone in, and they're like kind of like alone. Like I kept saying, like a lone stallion is the energy I got. Horse, I don't know if people say that, but yeah, so I just, once again, I'm going to say they're not saying this person's bad or good, but I don't think they're necessarily going to be in a place where they can be the person you deserve and are needing. Yeah, that's definitely a thing I'm getting, because even like I was saying, they're like, it's like says like they're not showing their hand, they're being strategic, they're choosing their options. It's just, yeah, I don't know, it's very like different energy. So this is kind of the energy I see when we might have past lives with this person. They might also remind us of how our parent had treated us, one of them, and so we are extra like hyper attracted to them because something about them so familiar, but they're usually quite unhealthy relationships for us to be in, and that's the energy I am perceiving for the majority of this pile. And so over here we have like guidance apparently for you about love life, and even how you can like, not even saying that you have to drop this, because your guides know you, and if you're watching a card reading and you're thinking you want to take them back, they know they're not going to be able to change that. So their guidance is forgiveness, and this here, I believe, is forgiving yourself. So it says nothing is gained by holding on to past disappointments. And I see this card as sort of you forgiving yourself for, I almost see like these dreams, like the person you thought they were, the person that that you dreamed of them being, and it not really being true, and not getting like upset with yourself for having hoped that, for having wanted that, for being deceived by this person. So if some of you are watching this because maybe you were cheated on, or this person just ghosted you out of nowhere, I really just see self-forgiveness around you feeling like foolish or silly, or some of you might even use the words, I feel so stupid because I took this person back and I didn't see it coming. Something along those lines. And they're just really saying forgive yourself for this. Not for their sake, but for your own sake. Because like I was saying, like sometimes these people, there's this uncanny connection because of past life. Our souls recognize that if we didn't like heal our wounding with one of our parents, and then this person comes in, that we have an opportunity to heal that wounding there. But yeah, that's a whole other thing of psychology and karma and all that stuff. So it's nothing for you to feel like you just weren't clever enough, or you just like weren't seeing things clearly. You see things better now. It's okay. Forgive yourself. You have a beautiful heart, and don't stop believing that there's someone out there who can be that dream person for you. And then appreciate this moment. Every situation is an opportunity to grow and find love. This is just really where they like to come full circle and say, like, I was kind of just saying, like, we grow in this, like, you knowing your value, knowing what you deserve, knowing what you want, knowing how to be a supportive partner. I lost track of my thought all of a sudden. Versus an opportunity to grow and find love. I do think for this connection, it was in growing in your own self-awareness and understanding your own needs that weren't met, if that makes sense. So some of that might have come from childhood, like maybe this person gave you something that you didn't have, like maybe attention or affection at the start. I don't think it goes out in the end, but there was a need that this person met at the start. And realizing what need you're just so wanting, or what thing you're so wanting, is a really good place to be able to grow and start and figure out how to meet that need for yourself, so you don't end up in these types of relationships again. You end up in one that's better, loving, supportive, ones that are respectful and generous and appreciative of your time and passionate. I think you really fear that other relationships might be boring and this person is at least exciting, or there might be an attraction there, but I think that's just what they keep saying. There's so much growth when we date people and things don't work out, or we date people, no matter how brief or how long, there is lessons there, and sometimes it just takes us longer to learn them. But I do definitely see it like that they're calling on you to reflect on what attracted you to this person, what makes you feel like you have to be forgiven by them or have their affection. And I know these are like hard things to ask yourself, but they really are saying, like, take a mirror and look in it and figure out, what was it about this person that you just can't let go of? Like, what need? Where, like, does it remind you of something in your childhood? Does it remind you of, like, there's something there, right? There's something there. They were meeting something that you need. It could also be that they reaffirm a limiting belief about yourself and you don't even know that. So yeah, it gets very complex. I'm just gonna leave that there maybe. But Christine Hassler, if you like podcasts, could be a good podcast for this group. I almost get the impression that some people, it could be narcissistic tendencies or personality disorder that's happening over here with this person. And it makes sense, because when someone has a lot of wounding and a lot of like a lot of hardships in their childhood, that's usually when they can form that type of personality. And Christine Hassler talks a lot about it, and I just have an impression that this could help you reflect on why you were attracted to this person and understand yourself better. And then this rest and relaxation is essential. We all have a fundamental need to take a break. This is cool because it's kind of as a double meaning. Here I'm thinking they're saying it's just time to, like, I feel like you're always overthinking about this person, and like I was saying about what you did wrong, or maybe like if you're a good person or not, or if you were really selfish. I feel like they've said some things that you get like really in your head about because you don't want to be a bad person. And I also feel like you might be still trying to reach out to them or contact with them. And I really just feel like this card is saying, just take a break, just really spend some time as best as you can, not thinking about it, and just taking care of yourself. Like, I really feel like that's a big one. Spending time with your friends. That's also what they're saying is important, is making sure that you're like connecting with your friends and being around people who support you and just giving this whole person a break, talking about other things, talking about things you're excited about. And I guess they just keep saying relaxing. Sleeping at night and relaxing. You might like not sleep very well at night because maybe they used to like message you at night and you're like always kind of waiting to see if they'll message you or something like that. But yeah, they just say you might have a bit of insomnia or something like that. So they're just really saying it's time to de-stress. So then the soulmate cards here, it says, your love life will transform when you learn to truly love yourself just as you are. You are perfect just the way you are. Accept this and you will be amazed by the changes it brings into your life. So this is a great card. I see these types of messages come up a lot when they're saying, once again, like that reflection where we attract in people who don't fully value us, who don't fully appreciate us, who aren't capable of fully loving us because there's a limiting belief within ourselves that we are unlovable or we are not deserving of love or love doesn't exist, something around those like limiting beliefs. So then we attract it in. And they're saying here, like, if you can learn to love yourself and provide yourself with whatever it is you think someone outside of you can provide you with, then that will change all your relationships because they don't have that pressure now, for one, to have to love you and support you and do all the things that you aren't capable of doing for yourself. And that takes a weight off of them. But also when we have love and tenderness and gentleness towards ourselves, people who also have that energy towards us will be attracted in. I think that's called the law of attraction. But anyways, that's just like when I see this type of message. I can even read it again if you didn't hear me the first time. So it says, your love life will transform when you learn to truly love yourself just as you are. You are perfect, just the way you are. Accept this, and you will be amazed by the changes it brings into your life. And then the last advice card here for the soulmate card is, in order to cope with separation from a loved one, we need to realize that spiritually we are always connected to those we love. Neither distance nor time can separate that which is united by love. Very nice. Yeah, so just to conclude this card reading, I really want to say, like, this horse person can just be a complete sweetheart, but they might just have, say, even like PTSD or something like that. I don't totally know, but it's almost like the energy I would get where they can just not be themselves and they can be like kind of like your worst nightmare in some ways. They can be very abusive, they can be very temperamental, they can manipulate you. And I just see here that they're saying, rest and retreat, forgiveness. Like, if you're on a break with this person, just take that time to really be on a break, to let them do their healing that they need. And if they can come back in and be this loving, supportive person that you're needing and deserve, then that's amazing. But during this time, it's important for you to work on yourself and see that you, like, the fact that they can manipulate you into thinking that you are a bad person, that you've done all these things, is showing that you don't trust yourself, that you are loving, worth love, and are deserving and are kind and compassionate. So your guides are really just saying, they want you to see really who you are and how amazing you are, and to learn to love yourself during this break, and really just rest, catch up on your sleep. If you weren't sleeping well with this person, say they were living with you, they might have even been a husband. I do get more male energy, but it can always be female. It could just be this person's more in their masculine energy. That could also be it, but yeah, if I think I might have slipped up a few times and said he, but it's just because it's very strong masculine energy. Okay. So yeah, I really want you to know this card reading is saying that this person is just gone forever, but for some of you, it's interesting. I see for some of you, you're actually going to be like, okay, this person, I deserve better. I don't want this. I want a more loving relationship. And then there's another scenario where I see this horse person coming back, but they're much healthier. They have an open hand. They've done their healing, healing from their trauma. And I do feel like there was a lot of trauma in their life. And they're able to be this loving, supportive person that you deserve. And then I also do see this, it being important though in both cases that you just really focus on looking at yourself and seeing what is it like that, what limiting beliefs do you have, and what were you attracted to in this person, and why, because I get the impression that they left, you didn't leave. So why didn't you leave? What was in it within you that made you feel like you couldn't leave this person? Just questions like that, playing around with it. And like I said, I do see a scenario where some of you, this person does come back after doing some of their own healing. But yeah, it is basically, you do see two people who need to do some healing. And if this relationship is meant to go forward together, it will. And if you are literally just in each other's lives to both bring on their, like, they need to do their own healing and you need to do your own healing, and it was triggered by this relationship, then that's also amazing. If you think about it, like, that's such an impactful relationship in your life. So both are very important, whether you end up coming back together or you stay apart, and then you both go on and find people who are more aligned with you. Yeah, I hope that makes sense. Okay. So best of luck. Don't be upset with yourselves. And really, it's time to reconnect with some friends. I feel like you might have stopped seeing some, and they're saying, don't be afraid to reach out. Don't be afraid to, like, it's okay to have a support system outside of you. That's totally okay. But just know that it's important for you to do that, like, self-reflection work. So Christine Hassler, I feel like could be good for this pile because of her multiple different videos around realizing why we put up with certain things, even why we respond certain ways in types of relationships. And yeah, I think that's all I have for this pile. I'm so sorry, this was so different from my intentions for this card reading, but I just always trust that whoever randomly finds these YouTube random YouTube pick a card readings finds the one that they need to hear. So I'm gonna trust that, and that someone needed to hear this reading just the way they gave it to me. Okay, you all have a good one. Best of luck. Remember Christine Hassler, really great podcast, and yeah, you've got this. It's okay. You're gonna be okay. Reach out to those friends. They miss you. Hello, pile 2. Okay, so the last pile took a totally different turn than I thought it would, so I'm kind of wondering which direction this card reading is gonna go, but we'll just see. Okay, so for these cards here, I chose cards about how you perceive this person you're inquiring about. And then I chose this card here to see how they're feeling on the inside. And I just did that because I feel like I was saying in the last pile, with astrology, we all have sun signs, which is how people perceive us. And then we have our moon sign, which is like how we feel on the inside, who we really are, but we don't always show other people. So that's why I did that. And then let's see, we've got a couple of soulmate cards here. Maybe I'll just put them here. We've got some of these love cards. And we've got some of these whispering love cards. Just going to put that there, and I'm going to put this here. There we go. I think you can see them a bit better now. Okay, so card readings can sometimes be really interesting when it's for the general because they show me like several different scenarios going on. So the one they showed me was like teenage love, like teenage sweethearts or young adults in university who've been together, and their perception is that they might be growing apart, or they're worried they're growing apart because of just everything going on, right? Like so many things changing, growing, learning new things, finding new friends, coming more into yourself, and moving away from who you were because of your parents' influence and moving more into who you are going to become. So that is definitely something here that I'm picking up on, is like high school sweethearts kind of energy, and worrying about that. The other thing too is that there's like a conflict going on a little bit. So there's some kind of tension in this relationship right now. And I don't think you're used to that. And I don't see that it is going to really like stop this relationship or anything like that. I actually see that this relationship is gonna go pretty strongly, but they are giving some things that they're saying you'll have to learn. So that's so interesting. I'm kind of jumping all around. So I think for some people it could be long distance relationship as well. That's the other energy coming through. It could even be that same scenario where you've been together for a couple of years. Maybe for somebody who's been like the only person you've ever dated, and you are going to go to different universities, or you might have met this person overseas and you're going to go long distance because, I mean, your connection, it's just amazing. So yeah, there's definitely something going on there. So there's some kind of conflict coming up between you. And I really do think it's like stress on both sides because of the situation you're in. That's why I really do I think there's physical distance or a lot of change happening around you. So it's like that stress and the worry about the relationship is almost creating tension in the relationship. So yeah, the advice that they have for this person, whoever you are watching this, is it says honesty is essential. Speak with love and truth. This card stands out to me the strongest because I see that communication, vulnerable communication, is really gonna be what you're learning here. So this could actually even be why this person is in your life. If you're like, how did I end up going into a long distance relationship? I do see that this is an essential skill that like you want to learn. You don't know it, but your soul somewhere finds a great value in very good communication. And like I said, vulnerable communication. So being like, it's almost like wearing your heart on your sleeve kind of energy and just being honest. So if you've been thinking about writing like letters to this person, if you've been thinking about trying to be more romantic or something, it would be really great to do that through like a written word or calling them, or I guess there's like Skype and Zoom and FaceTime and I don't know, all the other platforms right now that you can do that for. But however you choose to communicate, they're saying doing so vulnerably and honestly. So you could say like, I'm really worried about our relationship because it means so much to me. And I feel like that's like a conversation that you need to have, and maybe you have had it, but I feel like a lot of you haven't been as clear about it. Like maybe the other person here has been saying like, oh, you know, like I'm really gonna miss you and things like that, but the whole time you're like feeling this fear and you're not like voicing it. But they're just saying like making sure that you add in like that second part. You don't just say I'm worried about a relationship. You say I'm worried about a relationship because it means so much to me, and I don't want to lose you, or something like that. So it is interesting. It does seem like this is going off a different theme than what I had originally planned, but that's okay for this pile, I think. So, and I do think this person is a little more emotionally open than you are, if that makes sense. Like you have a harder time being maybe a little more vulnerable. And they might have a little more easy. And I think it might just be upbringing. So they could be from a different culture where they're more verbally open or emotionally open. And that could be like something you're learning a little bit still. But then there's also this interesting thing happening here. It says mirror, mirroring each other, self-image, relationships, reflect our wounds, introspection. So there's just so much going on here saying like this relationship is definitely like one of those lesson ones, not only just in what I was saying, like I feel like you're here to learn vulnerable communication, vulnerable, honest, open communication, but also here where actually this is the same theme, never mind. So with this boat card, it says receiving what you need, progression, arriving, moving on, and closure issues. So I actually see this card as just reiterating this lesson of this relationship. If you're like, why are we doing long distance? Why should we keep it going? It's really saying like, on a soul level, it wants to experience this. It wants to get good at some things that other people might not get as good at, because long distance is all about communication, right? So it's saying becoming very clear, open, and honest about your needs and what you need from this person, and also with yourself. And this is the mirroring thing is just so cool, because it's basically saying that you two are like a mirror for each other. On so that you're both just really gonna help each other heal. They're like, you're gonna see things in them that might trigger you, that might make you love them more, and then you might realize that all those things exist within yourself, is really what it's saying. It's just really cool. I'm not really quite explaining it clearly, but it's just really, really neat. So I do think this is going to help heal sort of our upbringing traumas, if that makes sense, or limiting beliefs that came from upbringing on both sides, yours and theirs. Let's see what else is going on here. So the other advice cards they had was demonstrate love. Find out what is important to those you love and act on it. I think this is also going to come through on the communication aspect, is really being able to get to know them if you don't already know them deeply, because say you were that person who just recently met, but there's something about them you can't let go of. Yeah, I just feel like I do see love letters. I do know that like FaceTime and stuff is a thing, but I just think that a big chunk of like keeping the romantic flair is going to be in like these love letters that are very meaningful and very deep, very deep. And I just even see, it's so funny because I do think for some of you, this relationship could be a very long-term relationship, where I do see like you might like have kids together, you might get a pet together, you might move in together someday. It's like really tough to say, obviously, because there's so many different possibilities you can end up choosing. But I do see for some of you, like this is gonna be a very long-term relationship. And they're just, yeah, saying keep the romance alive. Daydream together is also a big message here, where it's like if you're exchanging those letters or if you're chatting, don't be afraid to talk about the things you're excited to happen in the future. It's almost like planning for each other and each other's future, if that makes sense. Don't be afraid to do that. And then here it says, the heart of the matter, there's more going on than meets the eye. This is also very interesting because I feel like if there's ever times where you two can shut each other out a little bit, in both scenarios, it's because there's a lot of stress or worry or anxiety or maybe even a little bit of depression that might sneak into your lives, and it's nothing to do with the other. And I just feel like this is coming through as like a little reminder to say, like, if you're starting to feel disconnected from them, if you start to feel like they're not answering you as much or not messaging you back as much, or they're closing you out a bit, I think this is what it's saying, is that there's more going on than meets the eye. I think it's like, if it's, say, the university thing or work, you're just like, something comes up, it's stressful, you're worried, you have a lot of anxiety. And like I said, I do get like this little, I don't get like extreme depression, but I get like these little, like, sometimes phases, maybe it could even be seasonal depression. And just making sure that you know, when those things come up, it's important to, I get like the demonstrate love and like give them this, what's that word? Help them dream of a better time. Help them remember like what they're excited about. And hopefully they'll do the same. Like with the mirror card, I think it's going to be like, you'll do this for them, they might do this for you type of relationship. And it's funny, I'm kind of like doing it in backwards order, but we'll just keep going this way. So the soulmate cards here say, love overcomes all obstacles. A change in attitude is all it takes to turn things around. Trust in love's power. It will transform you and the one you love. All will soon clear. Change in attitude is all it takes to turn things around. And that's really how I'm getting the overall energy for this pile, is that you two have a lot of love for each other. And I think for some of you, it has been for many years. And like I was saying, for some of you, it's almost confusing because you haven't known each other for very long. But once you come back to the relationship, I just think that card says it so well. Like, love overcomes all obstacles. That's the energy I feel for this pile. That open, vulnerable, honest communication, that supporting energy, that daydreaming energy, knowing when something's up with them and knowing that it's nothing personal against you. It's just outside things like stress, pressures from other things coming up, and to just know that that's when they're needing the most support from you, and not to also push them away. Life is constantly changing, yet at its core, it remains the same. Love does not change, it only grows stronger. Change is simply love unfolding. It's never ending story. Well, I think that quite says it there. If you're worried about it coming to an end, I don't really see that for this pile. Not for many years at least. Or at this moment in time, I should say. Everything looks really good. It looks like there's like some soul agreements to learn so much from each other. And your energy feels so similar. So that's also why I feel like this is just going to work out. You have so much to teach each other by being that mirror. And your energy, like I said, is just so on the same frequency. You both have very gentle energy to you. Like, you both might be a little bit of a hopeless romantic, whether you show it or not. You both believe in like great love. And I just feel like that in itself is going to be what gets this pile through this conflict or obstacles that come your way, because it's just, there's so much hope and belief in true love. And you both have it for each other. So it's going to get you very far. Okay. Okay, well, we should actually talk about, so how you perceive them. So it says, Virgin, maintaining symbolic purity of heart and spirit. Understanding the nature of healthy romance inspires you to rely on yourself. So actually, when I see this, I kind of got the energy of seeing them more as like, I was thinking Romeo and Juliet kind of energy, like that, like intense connection right away, just not understanding it, but it feeling amazing and worth fighting for and beautiful. And that's kind of how I get that you perceive them, is like they're your Romeo or Juliet. Whichever one it is. Doesn't really matter. But really seeing that they are, and I mean, it could literally be physically that you are choosing to wait till marriage or something like that to be physically intimate. But I also just get that this person, they're just a really good person, and you recognize that, and that they don't like the corruption they see some places in the world. Some people might see them as naive, but I don't think you see that. You see them as having a really great heart and seeing past a person's faults. You have a lot of really good feelings towards them. You perceive them as like a pretty amazing person. I think if anything, the one thing that you might not always love about them is that I think sometimes when they're really stuck, they think they need someone else to help them. Like they almost need someone to come in and like get them out of that. And I don't know if this is going to be for everyone, but I think it could be for the ones who have dated for years and years. This is more the energy for you all, where it's like you would like them to know their true value and their power, that they're able to do whatever they set their mind to. And I think when they can get into, like I was saying, it's not quite depression, but it's like these lower ruts, that they can forget that. So it's not necessarily a bad thing, it's just something that I think you observe about them. And Firefly, I don't know, this I've actually never had this card come out before, but it's just such an adorable card. I don't know if I should be saying adorable, but it is so adorable. It's so cute. It makes me think of an extrovert, like someone who lights up a room. So it is interesting. So I guess how I see it is that I do think the kind of like hopeless romantic persona is very applicable. Also, it's funny that I was picking up on these love letters. I think they could actually be poems. This person might be more artistic. They could be into music as well. But I do see that on the internally, they try to be like the best they can for everyone. They try to basically be a light in this world for other people, but they can get burnt out. And I think that might be the energy I was picking up on, where I was saying they almost get in these like low lulls where they just like, it does feel like a very light depression, a very like kind of forgetting the passion in life. Like, why are they getting up every day early and why are they doing the things that they're doing? And it makes sense because I think they're just like shining as bright as they can for as long as they can, and then they sort of get tired. That's a good word. They kind of get tired, and then they need like that time to recuperate and then get back out there. So I don't know if that helps you understand maybe some of these less energetic times, because I can see for you it could be a little confusing if they're always high energy, they're very like loving, they're very like outgoing and supportive, and then all of a sudden they can just like disappear a little bit. I don't think they ghost people by no means. It doesn't seem like they are energy, but they just get really tired and they go from being high energy and supportive and excited to kind of like, yeah, I don't know, I just don't feel like doing anything today. Yeah, just kind of like, I don't know if that makes sense, like kind of energy, if you can visualize it. So I think that maybe might help you understand. They're just putting a lot out, and then they kind of need to find a little more of a balance within themselves. It has nothing to do with you or this relationship, but it is completely with just who they are, and the fact that they're trying to overgive essentially and be everything, and then they just get a little bit pooped. So it's almost like they have an overwhelming amount of inspiration and passion, and then all of a sudden they have none because they've just put too much out there all at once. Just to kind of answer some of the things I said I would in this card reading. So how they feel about you. I definitely get that they feel seen by you, I would say. They feel understood by you. You have a lot of similarities. You also have some very different things going on, but I feel like they feel seen by you and you get them, but I do feel like a big lesson in this is communication for this pile, understanding how to truly show up for someone and have them show up for you, and how to, like I had said at the start, communicate vulnerably and honestly with someone. And it feels very safe. Like, I don't see this person having any energy within them to like manipulate that or whatever. Like, I just don't think that's in them. I feel like that's why you have attracted this relationship. That's why it could be a relationship that goes on for a long time, is they're really teaching you how to be able to trust someone, have that trust reciprocated, and that support and love reciprocated. Yeah, super cool. I think this is going to be very beautiful, but I do see like there's so much love. That's almost why like sometimes you can find heartache when they aren't like messaging you back. There's like that like heart pull because you're not sure if they're okay or if they still love you. It's kind of like a really sweet energy, but it's like I was saying, it can be hard when there's that much love. So just remember that when there's like those low energies, it's not you. I think now actually I should have just started with looking into the energies, but for some reason I did it backwards. That this firefly can just get really burnt out. And like I said, it doesn't change the love, it just changes their actual energy abilities. So they're learning things. I think that could be something they're going to be learning in this relationship. Is to not overgive or not give out too much energy that they have none left and have to go into these sort of ruts. But yeah, hopefully this helps you out. I hope you found some things here that you were needing to hear. This connection does feel very lovely and very loving. So just best of luck with that. I can feel that you have so much love for each other. Hello, pile 3. You chose this piece of Porcelain Jasper. Okay, so let's see what you got. Just for a fair warning that the card readings have gone a little bit differently than I had initially said they would go. And I'm just trusting that they're coming out how Spirit wants you to hear them. So yeah, I guess you'll see what I mean. So this card here is the card I chose for how the person you're inquiring about feels on the inside. So like the moon sign in astrology, how they emotionally are on the inside, who they really are, whether they show that or not. And then these cards here are how you perceive them. So more so like the sun sign in astrology, where it's kind of like that first layer that we see people. Okay, and then we have these cards here. Be in the present, dream of the future, turn on your heart light, and get to know each other. Then we have some soulmate cards, which we'll read a little bit later. And we just have some little love cards, ascending and enlightening. Okay, try to straighten these up a little. It's very interesting. The last cards, the first pile had a 33. second pile had a 22, and this pile is a 44. So a lot of doubling numbers going on. Pile 3, so this is really cool. I think there is 3 cards here at the moment, 4 cards that I can see right off the bat about talking about transformation and complete change in dynamics, which is really cool to see in a love reading, because I think for this pile, what's the word I'm going to use here? You might have, like, the energy that they're showing me is like, I think literally the person you're inquiring about, you might see as like a father figure. Like, so you see them as like the father of your children, or someone who maybe you don't have children with this person, but maybe they have like nieces and nephews, but they treat them like their own kids. Like, you really just see them, you admire them for that, like as being like this, what is that word called? Parental figure, a good parental figure. But I don't think that your love connection had been very romantic in a while, we could say. I actually, what they're showing me is in this connection, it could either be that you've been together a long time. So a long time could be like, I don't know, I'm thinking in my head like 15 plus years. Could even be 10, let's be honest. 10's still a long time. But then in some cases, I get that now you're at an age where you're physically older. So you could be, I feel like for this pile, some of you could just be hitting 50, 55. Some might even be in their 60s. And something's happened here, and it's a complete transformation. Sorry, there's been a lot of people during this card reading, like, speeding around my block, and I'm not really sure what's going on out there, but yeah, it's a little more than normal. Okay, anyways, so I see that you have actually noticed that this person is changing, and I am a little biased to feeling like this is actually male, but I mean, who knows? Father, I guess. It could be something, I don't know. I feel like it's male energy. Sorry if it's not. But yeah, I feel like you have actually seen a change in them. And the cool part is how they feel on the inside is they actually feel transformed. So that's super cool. And the energy you get is really, I think, so this is another reason why I'm feeling this feels like a masculine person, like an actual male, is that I feel like this person has overcome societal norms, upbringing, trauma, like all sorts of stuff. I just feel like all this stuff that had truly limited them for years and years, something changed, and they are really different on the inside. So you're seeing it on the outside, they're feeling it on the inside, and I see it just having this beautiful ripple effect on your relationship. Like, just look at this card here. It says, here, maybe we'll bring it closer up. It says, get to know each other. And I think it's because this person is different. This is a new person. You don't know this person. They're just totally, they're more open-minded. They want to do things with you. They have new passions. They have new excitement for life. And I don't know if you're catching the energy though. It's like, I feel like they truly feel the value and the importance that you are in their life. So I think if you had children, it was sort of that cliche, you become parents first and partners second, and then eventually somewhere once the kids move out, you're kind of like, oh no, like I forgot I was in partnership. That was kind of the energy they're showing me for you in your relationship. And I see now, like, yeah, it's just so different. It's so beautiful. I keep saying that, but I get that this person, I just get is more joyous, and maybe they didn't really seem very happy and content in their lives before. I think before they just felt like they had all these roles they had to do. They had to be a certain way, and they really felt constricted by it, but I don't get that anymore. I really get like sudden change, it says, epiphanies, transformation, transcending obstacles, learning, expansion, new phases, preparing for union. That actually says that, preparing for union. And I just think that's what it's all talking about here. Even is, so this is like more advice cards for you, and it says turn on your heart light. And I feel like it's even saying like this person is different. They're actually ready to see you and love you how I think you hope they could have loved you during this whole relationship. But your guides are saying it's always better now than never. It's better to be late than to never have experienced it, or something. They're like saying that, and they're saying it's really time. Reflect on a time when you experienced love. Like they're saying, open up that heart chakra to the possibilities, because this person, I do feel like this like husband of yours feels so loving and so wanting to get to know you. Yeah, it's very strong. I feel like it's their love that comes through strong in this card reading, where I feel like yours is a little bit hesitant, but I feel like it's because you had tried to keep up the partnership romance, to keep up that connection. But I feel like with this person and the roles, and like they had a very strict view in life, and it was very like a box that they thought that they had to fit in. They just kind of like didn't receive it. They just didn't go for it. And I think it was very hurtful for you. But now, is like I said, you've seen that they're changing. Everything here is lightning and ascending. They're both changing. The cards are even saying that they're ready to be in a real union, which is funny because you have been in union this whole time, I believe. But yeah, get to know each other's. And then I like this, be in the present and dream of the future. When we dream, everything is possible. So this is also another advice card for you, where it's talking about being there in the present, knowing, not being stuck in the past where things didn't work out, where if they did this, this would happen. If you tried this thing, they would respond a certain way, because I think you're dealing with a totally different human being at this point. Like it's honestly, it's crazy to say like what they thought they were allowed to do truly was just their identity. And now they know that they are limitless. They can be whoever they want to be. That is just like, if you want to travel, I think is one of the things, they'll travel with you. If you want to, I don't know, like do some stargazing and buy a telescope, I think they'll do that. I feel like they have like this youthful excitement and intrigue about life that wasn't there for many, many years in your relationship. So they're saying, be in the present. As hard as it is, disregard the past, because this is a different human in front of you at this point. And dream about the future is just so great. Like literally, I feel like that is going to be a connecting thing. This person, this, I believe, husband of yours is literally going to say the things that they want to do. And I think it's going to shock you, because you're like, wait, what? You've never wanted to do that. But try to avoid saying that, because I think that could actually, I know it sounds like you're in shock, but I think for them it's almost a bit wounding, because it was so hard for them to get to where they are now, where they believed they didn't have to be limited or fit into a certain role, that I think every time you say, well, you've never wanted to do that before, it actually might be like a really painful thing for them to hear. Like, I don't know. It just, that's definitely coming up, that like, that hurts them. Instead, it would be better to say, oh, I'm so glad you're excited to do that. You could say, like, start with that and be like, maybe what inspired you to do this? Like, that different energy, that different tone, because yes, before, you're right, they probably never wanted to do it, but they want a fair chance to be this new person that I think they've actually worked quite hard to become. So that is actually an interesting thing. I think that's not a message from your guides, but a message from their higher self to just give them a chance. I do think that they have some regrets on how they've been in the past, but you know, they can't change that now. They did a complete 180, so that's honestly probably the most that they could do is to create that change. So let's see here. Soulmate cards say, a great love life requires intimacy, trust, and the ability to share your feelings. Express your doubts and fears, your likes and dislikes, talk openly, listen, be present, always with an open heart and mind. Wow, that's so crazy. So I don't know, as I'm reading this, I'm like, wow, I feel like that literally just reiterates everything I was saying around, like, I really feel like intimacy is something that's going to come back into this relationship. I don't believe that maybe it was really present. Not because of your faults. I definitely not. I just really want to make that clear. But I feel like this relationship is almost like falling in love with each other again. Okay, sorry about that, everyone. My camera battery just died. Okay, so I'm trying to remember what I was just saying. So, oh yeah, I was just talking about how like this card here really reiterates what I was saying, and I'm gonna repeat it a little bit because I feel like it's so important. And the main theme of this whole pile is just to fall in love again, to get to know, as if you're going on a first date with this person that I do believe that you've been married to or been in partnership with for a long time, because they're so different now, and they're basically finally able to be a supportive person, like a true partner is the word I want to use. They can be there, they can be excited, they can experience life with you. And I feel like the energy they keep saying, it's like you're ready to be together in like retirement. Like, I don't know if that matters to any of you. Some of you who aren't that old who are watching this, I'm sorry, but there's just like a very dominant energy that like one is like ready to retire together and just explore the world and do amazing things together and just be madly in love. And I don't know if you, the people who are watching this, thought that would ever happen in this relationship. And I feel like there's a little bit, like I was saying, a little bit of hesitancy in the heart because you wanted this whole time, but this person was just stuck in a box, and they're saying they're very different now, and they're finally ready to really be there for you, to really be the person that you were wanting and knew they could be this whole time. Yeah, it's really quite cute. So yeah, talk openly, listen, be present, and always with an open heart and mind. So really just going to reaffirm that forget how they were in the past, because this person is not that person. What you believe to be true about what they liked and didn't like and what they would or wouldn't try is no longer applicable. They are different. They have different opinions about all those things, and they're really just asking you to be open-minded and open-hearted and be gentle with them, because I don't feel like they're going to be very proud of the way they treated you and how they were during those past years. So if there's any like energy of like wanting to make sure they know that they could have been better, they already know it. They definitely do. And I think that's even what inspired them to transform who they were, because I think they wanted to be better for you, and they wanted to be better for the children that you have, but they just didn't know how. They just didn't know how to. So it's definitely something that's coming through. So this here says, this is a favorable time for matters of the heart, a time of inspiration and healing. A relationship blossoms, your heartfelt aspirations now manifest lovingly into reality. So here, once again, I gotta just read these cards before I talk. They basically just say what I try to say, but better. Really just saying like, yeah, it's a great time to get to like re-fall in love with each other, get to re-know each other. Like I was saying, I just picture like two young people meeting again and starting to date. That's the energy I see for your relationship right now. And it says like, this is a great time for matters of the heart. It's great to just prioritize your relationship and your love life, and it's gonna blossom, it's gonna grow, it's gonna be exactly what you as this young person knew you wanted it to be. And I feel like you waited a long time for this, so your guides are saying it's finally here. Don't push it away. You've wanted this for so long. It's you're not dreaming. This is reality. This person has changed so much. Okay, I actually think that's all I have for you all. This is very exciting, actually. Like, I think for you it can be maybe a little nerve-wracking, might be a little too good to be true, but you yourself have seen the change within them. So I think that's why you're even looking at this card reading. But yeah, I feel like it's gonna be like one of those crazy, like, teenage romances. Like, that's the energy it has, which is just so exciting, so loving. And has like that great like attraction to each other. And I just get that that some of you might be a little bit older and you didn't think that was possible, but I mean, it's happening. It's definitely happening. Okay, you enjoy this little romance of yours, and I will catch you around.